How do? I've got a few pickups, mostly modern stuff again. I know a lot of people come to these channels for the retro stuff, but I've kind of got what I need retro-wise, so a lot of my pickups are going to be modern, but, there's stuff going back to, like, the Dreamcast and PS2, so I suppose that's retro nowadays, isn't it? Just a couple of, like, little events happened, like, just over a week ago it was Doncaster Gaming Market, which is an event I always try and get to. It's, like, my most sort of local event. Still not easy to get to, when you haven't got a chauffeur service. More on that later. And also there was like the Black Friday sales and all that kind of thing that I've tried to take advantage of a little bit. And also there's been another Evercade drop. In fact, I'm going to start with the Evercade drop actually, because it feels like I've had special treatment, but I don't know. Middle of last week, 2 new carts were released. We got Towplan. I don't know how you pronounce that. Towplan. I always thought it was Towerplan, but the O and the A are the other way around. So we've got Towplan Arcade 3 and Data East Arcade 2. Now, as much as a massive Data East fan as I am, there isn't much on there for me. I wouldn't mind playing the arcade version of Midnight Resistance and what was the other one? I don't know. We'll go through the games anyway that's on these. So we'll start with Towplan 3, because that's number 11 on the spine, whereas Data East is number 12. This is a very strong collection. It's not one that there's nothing on there that I'm dying to play, but I think every game on there will get played. There is, we got Batsagun and Batsagun Special Version, which, like, really awesome. Like, I think these are sort of like the ones that really popularised bullet hell shoot 'em ups, which obviously means I'm not going to be able to do them, but whatever. I'm probably more likely to play Batsagun Special Version because it's been more sort of rebalanced, and apparently there are super hard modes on it, but it's more accessible, I think, in the long run. Outzone, which is like a cool like run and gun kind of game. I've never really played it, so it does pique my interest. Fix8, which I don't know what is Fix8. Looks like another sort of top-down run and gun game, which I've heard of it, but I've never really seen anything about it. So again, there's going to be a lot of that for this one. I do like the look of it, like the graphics, and I'm going to play it. Truxton 2, obviously. Truxton's like a staple of shoot 'em ups. I've never played Truxton 2, so it's going to be on my playlist. And Gox, which I've never heard of, GHOX. It's like sort of like a more sort of action, kind of involved version of Breakout. Which, I love Breakout. I'm not very good at it, but I love it. And the fact that there's going to be enemies, it kind of looks like what like Devil Crush and Alien Crush did for pinball. It looks like this has done the same thing for Breakout, which looks kind of interesting. And lastly, Vimana, which is another shoot 'em up I've never heard of, but apparently it's quite easygoing and accessible compared to a lot of shoot 'em ups, which ticks boxes for me. And the interesting thing about these latest arcade releases is they come with these little stickers, like sticker sheets, which I know a lot of people want to keep pristine and stuff, but I like to use these things, and these are all kind of like marquees and logos of the games with them. I bet Eddie would like these stickers actually, but I'm going to use them somewhere. So that was Towplan Arcade 3. I think, I would like to play every game on there, but I'm probably not going to bother with the original Batsagun. I'm just going to go for Batsagun Special Version. Data East Arcade 2. Again, comes with this cool sticker sheet. Not as many games to play, despite Data East being one of my sort of favourite retro developers and publishers. Peter Popper's Ice Cream Factory, which is like Burger Time but for ice cream. Not interested. I hate Burger Time. B-Wings, it's a shoot 'em up and it doesn't look like it interests me. Shootout, not bothered. Last Mission, another shoot 'em up that doesn't look very good. Express Raider, it's kind of like sort of Wild West kind of like. It looks a little bit like Bad Dudes, but Wild Westy. Not really for me. Super Real Darwin. Darwin's quite good. I might give that a go. Midnight Resistance is one I want to go on. I've played the console version, never played the arcade version, so it'd be kind of good to play. Crude Buster is otherwise known as Two Crude Dudes, or just Too Crude. It's the arcade version of that, and it's a shit game. I'm not playing that. Trio of the Punch, Never Forget Me. Weird name, but it's a weird game as well, but I've played it on the arcade cabinet. Not that bothered. Super Burger Time, I just said I hate Burger Time. The game that I really want to play on this one is Cliffhanger Edward Randy, which is like another kind of like, sort of, it's not like a belt action beat 'em up game, but it's kind of like Bad Dudes, but it's like sort of tinged with Indiana Jones and stuff. It's proper like pulp hero, like blockbuster hero kind of thing. And it's one that I've always kind of wanted to try and I've never got around to it, so I'm going to be definitely playing that one. That's the big name for me on that cartridge, which is cool. But I also, on the same day as those, oh wait, first, these came bundled with these awesome Evercade socks, which I already have a pair of these. They came bundled with two of the other old carts, but I thought while they were bundled with them again, they are good socks, I thought I'd have some again. I always like getting cool socks. As I was saying, I got another Evercade drop on the same day, and these aren't supposed to be out until the 12th of December, but you know, some literature say, you know, some websites online say it's out on the 12th of December, but some are saying out now. So I don't know if the general public have all got these, but I received the next two carts as well, which is Toplan Arcade 4, and one I've been really looking forward to, Metal Dragon and Life on Mars. Toplan Arcade 4, again, comes with this cool little sticker sheet. More of that, please. It'd be cool if they brought them out with, like, you know, now they brought out the tabletop arcade machine for Evercade stuff. It'd be cool if they brought out, like, things, you know, like little marquee stickers and stuff to go on them. But I think they're a bit too small for that. So on Toplan Arcade 4, we've got Dog Yoon, which is another shoot 'em up. It's, you know, I do plan on playing it. It looks decent. Grindstormer, again, it's another shoot 'em up. They all kind of look the same to me, but it's how they play, isn't it? I'll give it a go. Knuckle Bash is the one that I've really been looking forward to, being a big beat 'em up fan, and it's one that I've never played. I have got it on my list of things to play. I've got it on both my ROG Ally and my arcade machine, but I just thought it'd be easy just to play it on the Evercade one, and know that it's like, you know, optimised for the system. Apparently the difference with this one is, you know, that sets it aside from the other beat 'em ups, like other games of the genre, is that you can block attacks with this one. You don't tend to have a block button much on beat 'em ups, so we'll see how that comes into play. I don't know if it's like every other game where I just never use it, but we'll see. Snow Bros 2, I've never really been a big fan of Snow Bros. I've never really played it, it just doesn't jump out at me. PP and BBs, which is quite, from what I can gather, quite a pervy little game, like a pervy platform puzzle game, kind of game from back in the day. I think they had two versions of the arcade machine, one that was pervy and one that wasn't, so I think this is probably the one that isn't. One thing I did notice though is in the back of the instruction book there's a nice little history of Eroge, which is Japanese erotic games. Just a little article in the back of it for it. And lastly, Sky Shark, which I never shoot 'em up, but it's kind of like a very old one, which I don't think I'll bother playing. But yeah, Knuckle Bash, very interested in that. And last but not least, Metal Dragon and Life on Mars. Metal Dragon looks awesome. These are two sort of indie games for classic systems. I think they're both out on the Mega Drive. Metal Dragon looks kind of like a parody of the like Metal Gear, but Metal Gear if his stealth was just thrown out the window, and it's sort of Metal Gear if it was directed by Michael Bay, sort of explosions and all kinds of things like that, and it does look really good. Kind of a bit like Unmetal, in that kind of similar vein of like a sort of Metal Gear parody, but I think this one's a lot more sort of balls to the wall, kind of stealth is not even an option, never mind about it. You don't have to use it. Life on Mars I don't know much about, other than that it's supposed to be really good, and it is not about a policeman that gets hit by a car listening to David Bowie and wakes up in the 70s. It's some kind of sci-fi game, and there's also a game in the series called Life on Earth too, not Ashes to Ashes. So I don't know anything about it really. I just know that I have heard in the past that it is very good, and it would be good to play that. Those are the only 2 games on that cart, and there's no stickers in this one, but there is this really cool two-sided poster, like a mini poster. It's got Metal Dragon on one side. How cool is that artwork? Proper sort of Escape from LA kind of 80s kind of artwork. On the other side, Life on Mars. I'm definitely going to go for the Metal Dragon artwork. I'm going to have that up somewhere. I've got a blown window which has got like a tarp over it, which I don't like, just like above where the camera is. I've got a big old sheet of cardboard behind me, and I'm going to sort of make that into like a bit of a sort of mural, just to put over that window until I gradually get enough money to sort it out. So that's likely going to go on there. Again, I know people get precious about stuff like this, but it doesn't bother me. I never really plan on getting rid of this shit, so if I depreciate the value, so be it. So yeah, really looking forward to both games on that. They will be both played through very soon. What next? That's all the Evercade stuff out of the way, so if you're not an Evercade fan, then plain sailing going forward. Next I'll start with a nice little gift that popped through the letterbox quite a while ago actually, but I've only just got around to doing what I wanted to do with it. Claire, Retro Repair Bear, also known as the other half of YouTube's Retro Bear, she, like, whenever she does like appearances in like events and stuff, she always has these 3D printed bears, and I requested a pink one because, you know, I love pink stuff. And when she sent them, she sent just the normal little tiny bears, which she normally sends. I don't know if you can see any of them just up here, but probably not. She also sent me a couple of the sort of slightly larger bears, and then one of these like really big 3D printed bears, which I have covered in an old video. But in the older video I did say that I've been sort of looking for something to do with this, just to make it unique. I mean, it's pretty unique anyway. I don't think she's sending these out to everybody, but I sort of inquired into what the structure was like inside this, whether it was like, because I know a lot of 3D printed stuff has to have like a sort of crisscross structure inside to give it support while it's printing, so cause if it topples over while it's printing, then it'll just cock the whole thing up. So she got back to me and she did say that yeah, it did have some kind of, it has got like a crisscross support inside, but she was going to try and make something without and see if it held up. And then a couple of days later I got it in the post, another one of those bears. Because what I wanted to do with it, what reason I wanted to know what was inside is because I wanted to fill it with lights and make it light up. And she managed to get this another one of these bears, and managed to make it without anything on the inside, so it managed to stand up well. So she sent me this, and she even sent it with a little pre-drilled arsehole there, so I can put the lights in. Now I've got a string of these string lights from Amazon. I've tried to sellotape them, but it turns out that sellotape doesn't stick very well to 3D printed stuff for some reason. It's just like a random string of LEDs on a copper wire, which I've fed in there, which did not feel good. Feeding a big long string of what looks like beads into a bear's arsehole is not not really a comfortable thing to be sat doing on a Saturday morning, but yeah, I did that, and look at that awesome light up pink retro bear. I just need to find some way of securing that wire to the bottom there so it doesn't keep falling out, but you know, you can see the sort of fibres in it from the 3D printing process, but it still looks awesome. I want to have it on. Where's it gone off? Oh, so I've not plugged it in right. Yeah, I want to have it like sort of sat on the side of my videos, just like shining away there, but it's a really short cable. I've got it running from a power bank at the minute, but I'm going to have to find a longer cable for that cable extension so I can plug it in somewhere. But yeah. My wife Susie also sort of collects these bears, not in a way that I do, but she does like the pink ones, so she's going to have that one now, but this one is going to sit on the side. That's nice and cool. There we go. Right. Shall we move on to Doncaster Market then, shall we? It was a nice day. It was, it's always a nice day. It's nice to get out of the house, isn't it? Unfortunately, normally, when Sean Retro Games Revived, when he goes to these events, he normally comes and picks me up. I don't expect it of him. I've told him plenty of times that I've make my own way to things. If he can't, make my own way to Doncaster at least, because that's sort of achievable. I couldn't go to places like the Black Country Markets without him. It's a very generous thing that he does, and he's always appreciated and never expected. But he couldn't make it this time, so I had to make it on public transport. So that took me, I started my day off. I missed a tram. Well, I had to sort of walk into Hillsborough to get a tram to get to the train station. When I was walking, I sat off a little bit late because I was having a coffee, which was the first mistake. I missed a tram which would have taken me into Hillsborough, which I could have just jumped on to save the walk. Then when I got into Hillsborough, I missed that tram that I had to get onto the train station, which I would have got on nicely if I'd have been able to get the tram before it and not had to walk in. I ended up waiting for the next tram, got into the train station in time for my sort of backup train. The first train I missed by a long way. My backup train was going to be there. Got to the platform that it said on Google on my route planner. Sat there, I think I had about 10 minutes to spare. About 2 minutes to spare, something came up on the board and it was a completely different train, and I was like, holy crap, what's going on here? Found out I was at the wrong platform. They changed platforms and not updated whatever it is that Google needs, and I had to quickly get to the platform. Luckily it was literally just a walk around, there's a small platform which you can walk around the end of it, and it was literally just on the next one over, so I just had to run around there and get on the train. 2 minutes to spare, I figured that out, and I managed it. From there on it was kind of plain sailing to get to Doncaster, but a rocky start to the day. I got there and it was kind of a little bit sort of socially a letdown. Didn't seem to be anyone else there. The only people I did see there were Tootie, Dana, James and Craig, Dylan and Eddie, and they were all just kind of they were all behind stalls. So it was kind of like there was no one to walk around with and compare finds with or anything like that, go for a drink with. The only person I did see was Callum, the Retro Ghetto, who I finally got to talk to properly, because I've always just kind of left him alone in the past, because he's always he's always surrounded by people, so I'm not using the term YouTuber as a derogatory thing, but that guy is a YouTuber, whereas I'm a guy with a YouTube channel, so he's always got people around him wanting to talk to him. So I've always kind of just left him alone, because I thought one more person bothering him kind of he didn't need that, so yeah. Turns out he thought I just didn't like him, and I didn't even know he knew who I was, so yeah. We'd spoke a bit online since then, and we finally actually spoke to each other, and me, the socially awkward guy that I am, I didn't really say much, but it was nice to actually meet him. He shook my hand, and the guy has got the vice-like grip of what's the robot on Futurama? Clamps. The mafia robot. It's like shaking hands with him. My hand hurt for days afterwards. Don't know what that guy does. But yeah, it was cool to meet him, but there was nobody else just walking around, and I think I just did one circuit of the room in Doncaster, and then I spent about half an hour stood behind Eddie's stall just chatting to him and Dylan, and then I just kind of I went back to a stall that I'd seen originally and didn't buy anything from. I went back to buy something from that, and then just went home. I was only there for sort of an hour and a half maybe. Yeah, it wasn't my favourite, but it was still nice. It's still just good to get out. What did I get? I got the smallest haul I've ever got, I think, from a gaming market. First thing I picked up was quite early on into my visit, and that was Yakuza, the original one on the PS2. I paid £30 for that. Reason being, I'm trying to build up the collection of the Yakuza games. I'd got them all. I got the remakes and stuff like that, but I wanted to go back and get all the ones that were the original releases essentially, and also get the Japanese versions of the games that never came out over here, which I think I've got 4 more to get now. Just 1 PAL game and 3 Japanese games. But yeah, Yakuza. The only PAL one I have to get now is Yakuza 2 on the PS2, which is the big pricey one, unfortunately. But I never saw a copy of that. Yakuza 1, quite happy to have. I've never played this actually. I only started playing the series when Yakuza 0 came out. So I played that and then went on to Yakuza Kiwami, which was a remake of this. So yeah, I don't know if I'll ever get around to playing it. It is mostly a collection piece, which, you know, I do say, you know, I do talk against buying stuff for the shelf, but that's part of a set that I'm just trying to collect for collection's sake. So unfortunately that's it. I got these next 2 from Dylan from YouTube. He was stalling with Eddie Rollerco. Hyper Trigger EX is his channel. This is a sealed copy of Yakuza 4 on the PS3. I did say I was going to open it, but truth be told, unless I decide to play it, there's no real point in opening it, is there? He had this listed at 25 quid, which was surprisingly good price. I've seen these on, like, you know, I've seen these sealed on eBay for 60 quid, so 25 quid, I wasn't going to buy it off him at first, because I just thought, oh yeah, it's going to be too much money for just for some cellophane, when you can get, like, I think it's £14 for it from CEX, and whatever kind of condition the cat dragged it in that morning, what they consider good. But yeah, when I saw he had it sealed for 25 quid, I thought, I'll have that, and then he goes, I'll do it you for 20, so 20 quid for Yakuza 4 sealed on the PS3. I can't really complain about that. And if I do open it at some point, I'm not depreciating it too much. And the other thing I got from Dylan was, and it makes me sick to the stomach, that it's my first ever limited run purchase, because I absolutely hate that company. It's just making things rare so people pay more. There's no point for it to be rare. They are artificially making things scarce, so the aftermarket booms, and it's just not a practice that sits well with me. But, you know, I'm not going to tell other people how they have to spend their money. You know, people can say the same thing about the Evercade stuff with me. You know, I have to buy it all, whether I like it or not. And it's the same with these limited run ones, because they're numbered. But in my eyes, in fact, I'm not even going to get into it. But yeah, my first ever limited run game, to my knowledge, anyway, I bought off Dylan. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World Complete Edition. Again, it's sealed. This is a replacement for a digital copy I've got on the Switch. Not a replacement, but, you know, I bought it digitally, really liked it, and I wanted a physical copy. It wasn't even in my wish list on Amazon, because I keep like an ongoing wish list where I have a lot of, you know, games where I've bought them digitally. I do have a lot of them, again, physically on my Amazon wish list, but I've not even bothered putting this on, because it would be a limited run and never actually thought I'd see a copy of it for the right price. Dylan had this marked up at 35 quid, and he did it me for, oh no, I think he had it marked up at 40 and he did it me for 35, which I thought was quite a decent price for this. So yeah, it's one of my favourite beat 'em up games of all time. The soundtrack's amazing, the graphics are great, it's quite challenging, but once you get the hang of it, you know, it's easy to sort of learn. So yeah, I'm really stoked to have a copy of that. And the last thing I bought on the day was, again, it's something I've got on the Evercade, but I wanted to get it sort of physically on the Dreamcast because, well, essentially it's Tapeworm Disco Puzzle. It's by Low Tech Games. There we go. I met Alistair Lowe, who runs Low Tech Games, a couple of years ago. Really cool guy. Both Tapeworm and the game that came before it, Flea, are both two of the best indie games I've ever played. And I got Flea on the Dreamcast as well. I've got a signed copy of that actually. Even though I played through it on the Evercade. It's the same with this. I'm a bit gay for Alistair Lowe and Low Tech Games, so I just wanted a physical copy just to go with my copy of Flea. Nicely sort of pressed and everything like that. They are essentially CDRs, so you do need one of those Dreamcasts that can play CDR games if you want to play these kind of things, but it's a really cool game. It's like a sort of puzzle game. I think it's got like 100 levels, and it starts off a little bit like Snake, where you kind of moving around. You can like move around like sort of mazes and stuff, not double back on yourself, and every time you move your snake, your worm gets a bit longer. It doesn't move on its own. It basically starts as one piece in the corner, and every time you move a piece, it sort of leaves a trail behind, so you can't sort of double back on yourself. But later on, it kind of like incorporates like elements from other puzzle games, like Lemmings and stuff like that. Really, really good game, and I really thoroughly recommend people play it, whether they just download a ROM on the NES or what, or play the Evercade version. Absolutely great. Right, and because I'd not spent my entire budget when I went to Doncaster, when I came home I raided a bit of Amazon's Black Friday sale. I spent like another £100, because I budgeted on like 200, sort of like a soft sort of figure. Spent about 100 there, so I came home and spent about another 100 on Amazon. Picked it up again. This is one that I've had, well, I say I have digitally, but I don't really have it digitally. I got it on the PlayStation 4 on PlayStation Plus years ago, so I don't really even have access to that now. But I wanted a physical copy for a bit, and that is Broforce. I got it on the Switch. It's like an awesome sort of run and gun kind of Metal Slug kind of thing, but there's like so many playable characters, and each playable character is like based on sort of an 80s action hero. Like there's like, and they've all got bro in the name as well, so there's like Rambro instead of Rambo, there's Brobocop. It goes all the way through that. Every kind of 80s, in some 90s, some 70s, Bronan the Barbarian, they're all sort of in there, if you know, with some kind of bro pun in the name. There's even stuff like Ellen Ripley, there's like Snake Plissken, loads of different characters you can unlock, and they all play differently as well. Like Conan just has a sword, stuff like that. It's so much fun to play, challenging but not too difficult, so I fully recommend Broforce. I can't wait to play through this again, it's going to be great. I picked up one which is a curiosity for me, and I know this is probably the worst version of the game, but it's the version of the game that I am most likely to actually play and not just sit on a shelf. That's AEW Fight Forever on the Switch. I think I'm more likely if it's like go on this for like short bursts on the Switch when I'm sat in bed and can't sleep or something. Then if I bought it on the PS5, I would probably just put it on the shelf and never play it. So that's why I've opted for the Switch version of this. I don't know how it runs. I don't know if it runs any better or worse on other systems. But yeah, it's mainly I want to try out. I'm not, I get my wrestling fix for playing the 2K games. I'm not, I play mostly like a sort of universe mode, they call it, which is kind of like a management mode, sort of like a sandbox mode on that. And there's nothing of that kind of capacity on AEW Fight Forever. It's more arcadey and more old school, so I don't know how much play I'm actually going to get out of that. But it's a curiosity, isn't it? It's one that I just want to try just to see what it's like. And I got the last Switch game I got was Bear and Breakfast, which is what I've been looking at for ages. Best tagline for a game ever: build and run a bed and breakfast, but you're a bear. That's there on the back there. It just looks a little bit sort of cozy. It's looks kind of fun. It's just setting up a bed and breakfast, doing little tasks for your little animal friends. Looks a bit Stardewy. Looks a bit sort of theme hospital-y, if you get what I mean. And ticks the boxes for me. I think I wanted to play that for quite a while, but I've not wanted to pay more than a certain amount for it. So it's cool to get that at a price that I find agreeable. This one is kind of the opposite way around. I have a digital copy, well, it's the same way around as Scott Pilgrim. I have a digital copy of it on the Switch. Wanted a physical copy for a while, and that is Untitled Goose Game. Really fun. Again, quite a cozy game, but it's really fun, short game. You just play as a naughty goose who wants to cause havoc. And I've wanted a physical copy of that for quite a long time, so I'm happy to finally have that in my collection. This one's another curiosity one. I've been wanting it for a bit because of my attachment to the Batman Arkham series, but I've been waiting for it to drop to the right price, and that right price turns out is about 13 quid. I picked up Suicide Squad, got the deluxe edition, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I've heard it's absolutely dreadful. I've got a mate of mine, Max, who's also just got it on Steam. He played the tutorial once and then uninstalled it and asked for his money back, and he only paid a couple of quid for it. I'm more likely to put more time into it than that. In fact, I'm going to play it next after I've finished playing the game I'm playing at the minute, which is South Park, The Fractured Butthole. I'm going to try it next out of curiosity, because I want to talk to him about it as much as anything. I'm sure it's bad, but we'll see. And the last one I picked up was Unknown 9 Awakening, which is a game I saw the trailer for this early this year, and instantly recognised that that's I can't remember her name. I think it's Anya or something. I might be wrong at that, but she's the girl who plays Yennefer Vengerberg in the Witcher TV series, the Netflix series. Yeah, Unknown 9 Awakening. It sort of looks a little bit Assassin's Creedy. Kind of reminds me of Forspoken, that kind of like sort of magical traversal kind of thing, which is a game that I dismissed at the start of the year, but I do want to go back to and play again. I just kind of wanted to blast through games at the start of the year, thinking it was going to be a long game, and I wasn't really enjoying it, but I do want to go back to it. This looks more like sort of like a more streamlined, less open world, more linear version of that, which is fine by me. It did take my interest at first because I recognised her, like I said, but it also looks like it's up my alley in that kind of like action-adventure kind of style. So I've heard mixed things from it. I've heard mostly bad things from the user reviews on thingy. It got a bit review bombed on Metacritic because of, you know, the anti-woke brigade not liking it because it's got a female character. But I think the critic reviews have been sort of mixed to positive, so I'm glad I didn't pre-order it because it went down in price very quickly. It's just one I've been wanting to try since I first saw it advertised, and yeah, it sounds right up my street. Reserve judgment until I play it. That's enough of that then, isn't it? So yeah, this might be the last time you see me before Christmas. So if that's the case, it probably is the case, then have a good one. Keep tabs on the Retro Bears channel, because we'll probably be doing something TMB related before Christmas too. So it won't be the last time you see me, but it'll be the last time you see me on this channel. If you do tune into whatever we decide to do on the Retro Bears channel, then I hope to see you then. If that doesn't happen, or if you don't, then I hope you all have a good Christmas and New Year. And I'll probably speak to you sometime after Christmas with some Christmas pickups. There is another Black Friday pickup that I did as well, but it's not arrived yet, so I'll have to wait till then. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time.